power of love, the power of love. Come and listen to the stories that change the way that you see, the things that you hear will help you to feel empowered every day.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of The Power of Love, exploring the most powerful force on earth. Doesn't that sound beautiful? I just, every time I say that, I just love it. So I'm Mia Saenz, your host, and this is Cyndi Olin. Welcome, Cyndi.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so
So
excited to be here.
so now I get to share about you. So I've known Cyndi for years. We've been love coaches, interviewed each other, adore each other. So I'm really excited to have you here. Today, we're going to talk about the frequency of love, which is really powerful and also incredibly vast.
It really is.
Yeah. Would you like
Yeah.
to begin with us?
Yes. I mean, love is the most powerful force. I mean, love is in everything, right? Like love gets it truly is. Like, I know a lot of people might come to you and I for romantic love, and I'm going to speak into that, of course, but it's it's the energy of like love, really seeing love all around us and seeing the miracles that love really unfolds from, just from nature to just not just, but the vastness of what we choose to see as love
And
and
feel, right?
yeah, and feel, it's a real sensory thing. It's like what we're feeling, what we're tasting, what we're allowing, and how we operate in the world. We were talking, before we started the recording about, the frequency of receiving the love that you desire, like, when it comes to romantic love. And this is something I play with a lot. I play with it with my clients. And, this comes down to, I really feel like our journeys here on earth, it's all about love. It's all about discovering that deeper love for self and how that manifests itself through even, the foods that we choose to eat, to where we're, spending our time, what we desire in life, and, everything. And we have different versions of ourselves throughout, the years, and, just depending on where we're at in life. And so from that space, it's really important, when you're looking at bringing in partnership, being really clear, having clarity around what is it, what's my vision? First of all, what's my vision for love? And, what do I want to create? And I would invite you to start writing. It's just go for a free flow. Like, what is it that I want to create? What kinds of things do I want to do with this person? How do I desire to feel on the daily? And then so from that piece, what are my values? I work with my clients around what I call the fabulous five, the five must-haves that person must possess in order for it to work. And then there's also values that you have, and different things that you get to experience. Like, so you've got the five must-haves without getting too confusing around this. And then you get to, if they possess your five, you also want to make sure that you feel safe on all levels with this individual. Like,
Yeah.
Safe to be you, just safe. And maybe there's somebody out there that's thinking, well, I don't know if I've ever felt safe in a relationship. So getting to the place, getting to that frequency within you, which is part of the inner work that I teach. I know Mia teaches, you know, many of us here do teach around getting really connected with you and feeling that safety and love for you first, so that when, as you are opening yourself up to receive love, you feel the safety from the outside and you'll recognize it. You know, it's like puzzle pieces that click together. And no, there's not only one puzzle piece that fits for you, there are hundreds out there. And so, you know, having a knowing that it's there, and dating from that place, you know, and many people are like, oh, I want to date online. Well, when you're operating from that place that I just came from that, oh, I don't wanna, it doesn't work, I have resistance, then that's what you'll be met with. But when you look at it from a different lens of enjoyment, joy, and curiosity, and making connections without attachment to what, you know, what the outcome's going to be. Part of the reason why so many people feel that heavy energy around dating or online dating is because the concern is about the outcome. Is this going to be the one for me? What's going to happen here? Rather than operating from that perspective, you operate from the frequency of your vision, love, honoring your time too, right? And knowing that, oh, hey, I'm going to connect with this beautiful soul. And if their visions seem somewhat aligned, then you continue to play with them and be curious and see
I
what
love how you're using the word curious, because
yeah.
I use it with the universe all the time. I have to be curious in order to get my answers or bring in my manifesting, all of that.
Mhm.
It's a beautiful idea, concept, and a way of going into relationship building, right? It's beautiful to be curious what you can create. It's beautiful to be curious about where it can go, and so much more, right? So much
I
more.
mean, there's so much vastness in the
Yeah.
curiosity, because then you can, you know, go out on a date and let's say you had a pretty good time, then you can get curious with yourself. What did I like? What were the things that I really like? Oh, I loved how the conversation flowed. It felt so easy to be me. I mean, you know, all the things, right? Um, I was able to open up and be a little bit vulnerable. I liked that. So what did I like about me? Right? How did I like about how I showed up? We don't necessarily flip it on ourselves all the time. Oh, I like
That's
that
a really good point. Yeah.
you know, I like that I was free flowing and open, invitational, and smiling. I found myself smiling the whole time. Is there someplace I could have been even better?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I cut him off a few times. Like I interrupted him,
Yeah.
or, you know, whatever it was, without making yourself wrong,
Right.
right? What we're looking for is, where are areas that I could grow?
Mhm.
And instead of looking at, well, was there something that wasn't something that I didn't like as much, or something that didn't resonate with me? Usually that means there's a desire underneath So what's the desire that I have? So rather than, going into, oh, that guy's bad because of X, right? Because we could easily do that. It's like, well, I have a desire for someone that seems, more driven, or, has, you know, deeper interests. And I'm open to getting more curious and connecting with this person. It could be anything, right? But when we are operating from that perspective, it keeps things open. It also keeps us from landing on, is this my man or not? And, asking yourself, does he have a similar vision? Are we in a place where we're looking for those things in a similar timeline? And if those answers are yes, and it may take a little bit of time to see if he has your 5 must-haves. And if you're like, well, I'm not feeling super hot chemistry. Okay. Keep exploring and keep opening yourself up to others.
Mhm.
And I feel like a lot of times women, as they're in this journey and they're working on their, their vibrational space to receive what they want and love, they start to get fearful of, well, if I spend too much time with this person and I don't know what I want with them, or I'm not sure if I'll want a commitment with him, that's okay.
Mhm.
And allowing yourself to be okay with it. It takes time to explore any kind of connection that's valuable.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times women can get hung up on dating multiple people or not, or is he going to feel bad? Trust that he's doing the same thing.
Mhm.
And also, men feel it when you are dating and you're in a powerful place around it. The ones that are showing up, they will literally start to energetically, talking about the vibrational space, they will start to pursue you, and in a way that lets you know, hey, I'm going to be the best man. I'm going to be the one that you choose. And it's a really beautiful dance that unfolds when you allow for it to, and you allow for yourself to lean back, and you're able to communicate in a frequency that is love based, which, I teach that, of course, that invites them in, that brings them closer. And they literally will start to line up and want to spend more and more time with you, because you're operating from that inner knowing, that confidence, and that strength within. And you're setting, you're showing up as a queen, you're setting boundaries, and from a kind yet firm way of being. And it opens up the door to really bring in your man quickly, for one, and enjoy the journey and what you're supposed to learn along the way.
Let's also talk about, because this is something that you work with your clients on, clarity of what they actually see and want from a relationship or in the space of love.
Yeah, so getting clear, how to get clear.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a good question. You know, I do a process, but first of all, it starts with, well, there's a couple things you can do, and I'll make it easy. So you could start to look at, what are things that I was missing in the past that I really desired? You could start there, and from there you can start to get clarity of, well, I really want a man that makes me a top priority. I remember I used to date and be in relationships with men that I wasn't a top priority for them. And I felt it. And it's a different kind of feeling. You feel dismissed, disposable on some level. You might be going, wow, you're a love coach. Well, I'm here for a reason. I had a journey that I was blessed to get to walk through, to get to that other side. And there's always more, right? But I had a standard that I was settling for because there was a worthiness thing. I had a worthiness conversation of, oh, I didn't think that I could possibly ask for more on that level. Yeah. So, start to look at what hasn't really worked for you. And then you get to start to draw those lines in the sand of, am I done with that lesson? Yeah. So what are those?
I feel done.
I feel done. And don't get me wrong, sometimes the universe will test you when you're on this journey and you're really serious about bringing in true loving partnership. It will test you with a really great temptation, and he might be really sexy, and he might have some of the things that you really desire, but you might get tested on that very area. And it's up to you to say, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. Mm-hmm. Or as Abraham Hicks says, oh, that was driftwood passing by.
And driftwood, actually, because she doesn't live up here where I live in the Pacific Northwest, driftwood is actually really gorgeous.
It's beautiful. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with driftwood. Right. It's also a sign that what you desire is on its way. Mm-hmm. And you get to be really open and excited for that. And when you draw that line in the sand, I tend to go right here. It might feel hard the first time. It might feel like, oh, did I let something go? Was that the right thing to do? It might have you second guess yourself because you're likely a really giving, caring, amazing person that sees the best in people. And you might have made excuses for men, or wanted to save him on some level, or saw his, fell in love with his potential, or at the bottom of your heart, you just knew it wasn't aligned. Mm. So when you know that, you can't waste another second, because that's going to speed up the frequency of you receiving.
When you get out of that situation.
Yeah, when you get out of that, it's like, and I've heard so many women justify, oh, maybe this person is a lesson for me right now, and I just know he's not the right one. Well, what you're saying to the universe is that you're really not ready. Mm-hmm. And you're ready to stay stuck. What you're ready for is to continue to stay stuck in your patterns and stay in a victim story. Mm-hmm. And if you're ready to do something different, get out of the fantasy relationship and step into what you're worthy of. This is what we're talking about in this frequency, and it's powerful.
You know, in the very beginning, or you and I guess we'll call it the green room before
Yeah.
the camera started to roll, we were talking about relationships and the frequency and how things are no longer like, it wasn't explained this, we weren't talking about exactly like this, but like the Disneyland fantasies, right? The fairy tales are what we've been seeing forever. When in reality, if we actually were cartoon characters turned human, that stuff would not exist, period. So there really does need to be a new view, right, on what love frequency is like, or even what an individual's love frequency is, because most of the time most people don't have the right awareness of what their frequency is.
Right, because they're operating from a vantage point of the movies, like, you know, what Serendipity, or,
Right.
the old
Or even Ariel, the Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid. Yeah,
Seriously,
yeah.
Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White,
Mhm.
right? You've Got Mail, whatever the movies are,
Sure.
yeah.
And even, and we can go into this too, even hookup culture, right? Like there's the hookup movies where then the two fall in love somehow, and that's not necessarily reality either.
That's less reality than the Disney ones.
Yeah, I mean, there's those feelings and you know, the desire for the connection. But with love, people are human and we have bad days and we get to seek to understand each other. It's not you sweeping me off my feet. It's being in reality together and building true intimacy based on the foundation of the truth of who we are and what we're creating together, not from a totally made up fantasy of I'm looking at you across the room and it's this, it's that, it's this magical thing.
Yeah.
In fact, if that happens,
Run.
run fast. I mean, if you can't, chemistry is great. And the feeling of falling in love is amazing, but it's not sustainable from that place. The frequency actually gets to become greater. And how we do that is by seeing our partner, not necessarily wanting to change who they are, but from acceptance of them, acceptance of ourselves. And if, certain things do get to shift and grow, it's from really true love-based conversations and knowing how to communicate from that place, not from your triggers, not from the places of, projecting our upset or disappointment, but from a true loving place, which takes usually skill set, and because they don't teach this stuff in school, and most of the time parents don't teach it at home. There's a lot more awareness than what there used to be, but even still there's dynamics, and it's important to learn those skill sets and have those tools so that you can actually grow your frequency of love in relationship, because that's what's meant to happen when you're in partnership. Because then when you have a fight and you make up and you have hard times, it actually brings you closer, not further apart. So
it's interesting. When you were just talking about that, my head shot on, or my mind opened up to, my oldest son is getting married, and it's not going to be a big fancy wedding or something. They went off to elope and found out that they had to wait 3 days for the license because she doesn't live in Washington. And so, or if I got married in another state, I'd have to wait 3 days too. So, and my husband would chase them down because I'm married. But the idea of the communication, or even how to feel, people don't even. We were talking about the clarity of the vision of love. People don't produce that clarity. I was telling his fiance was saying to me, this was so fast, I'm really scared and I'm excited and I don't know how to integrate this in. And I'm like, this is an amazing woman. I just recently met her. They've been dating for a long time. But I said to her, you have to have some things within yourself set, like, don't ever go to sleep mad, ever. Or even you may want to reconnect every morning to the concept of love with each other. Have a playbook that both of you want to. This is what I'm picking up from you. Have
Yeah,
like a
so
playbook
true.
of what you want with your partner and know what that is. Be curious, be playful with it, and
Mhm.
have it come from a place of feeling safe, right? Because something like that, if two people committed to each other every day, how powerful that would be. When my husband and I got back together this past year, that's something that I had always said when I left him. I always said to myself, well, I want to commit to my next person totally 100%. But there was nobody that I wanted to commit to until I circled back around to my husband. And then I was like, I've always been in love with you. Let's do it again, kind of thing. So it is about
Yeah,
that
well,
commitment
and
with people. We don't recommit every morning like I thought I would want to, but there is a deep, incredible. So there's a commitment people give each other, and then there's a commitment people give each other.
I love that you brought that up because that's, we often go into commitment with back doors and some
Yes.
withholding. And, you know, the deepness and the richness, which what I was talking about within the intimacy, is making those deals of, maybe we don't connect in that way every morning,
Mhm.
but maybe we set aside time every week that we do connect, and that we ask each other some questions like, how are we doing?
Mhm.
And, what's going great? What do we have an opportunity for growth? This isn't ever about making each other wrong. It's a
Right.
safe, sacred space. And also making time for date nights.
Mhm.
And they don't have to be extravagant.
Mhm.
They could be, a simple walk along the shoreline, or whatever,
Put candles up with your regular dinner. Watch
right?
a show, but make sure that the intention, right, is about that beautiful space between each other.
Right. The connection there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, yeah, we in my partnership, we make those deals, and then we have unspoken ones where, we connect at night. Every night before we go to bed, we have this cute little routine, and we
Sweet.
and it is super sweet. And then sometimes we get really intentional, and we make sure that we create
Mhm.
date nights or date days. And we're both competitive, so we get competitive on little sports and things like that, and it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like those those are the things that you get to do. And you also get to have freedom outside, of your relationship. I work with a lot of women that get fearful around, oh, I don't want to be in a relationship because that means that I'm stuck on some level.
It's
And
supposed to be freedom, right?
right. And there's so much freedom in the right connection.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about making those agreements with one another and having respect for each other and not making the other person wrong for what they desire to do, but really supporting and believing in and, cheerleading the other person.
Yeah. Yeah, really beautiful. So tell us tell the audience how they can find you, and you also have a gift for them.
Yes, I've got a gift. The gift is juicy. So it's about clearing any heart blocks. So I do these heart opening activations that, I've had clients that have literally done these for a few weeks, month at a time, and have brought in love just simply by doing
Beautiful.
those.
By opening it up. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Beautiful.
really opening up the portal for yourself. And so there's that. And I believe there might be even a little training in there to give you some real opening and perspective of, how it works and when you're feeling blocked, how to process your emotions and, shift it and also not resist feelings. I think a lot of times when we're working on being in a higher vibrational state, we can easily go into a place of like, oh, I'm feeling bad today. I am resisting that and stuffing it, which would be something that you would do in relationship too. And then next thing you know, it'll come out sideways. So you want to resist those feelings, you want to feel them, and then you want to move through them and let them go. So I believe I might talk about that within that gift. So it's pretty juicy.
Before we step up, do you have the URL that will be, or you'll give that to me later?
Yeah, I'll give you the link. Okay. They can access it.
And then I'm going to put it right here so you guys could get it inside the video.
Yes. And, if you want to connect with me deeper, createyourownluckandlove.com. You can set up a complimentary call with myself or someone on my team. And if you want to explore this level more, then anyway.
Wonderful. Thank you. And is there anything you want to leave the audience with? A thought, a concept, something?
Yeah, like you get to really, if you're here, congratulations, because you're on the path, you're on the journey, and really trust yourself. Allow yourself that ability to trust yourself. If you're feeling something inside intuitively that feels off in a connection, there might be something there. So get curious, trust yourself.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Cyndi, for
coming
on today.
It's fun.
And chatting about the power of love and it being such an amazing force here. And also, everyone, thank you for joining us for this episode.
Yes, thank you for what you're doing too.
Thank you, honey. All right, bye, everyone.